Hello and welcome to the EdjSports NFL betting preview for Week 12. I'm your host, Ian O'Connor, Senior Data Analyst here at EdjSports, and wanted to start by wishing everyone a happy Thanksgiving. I'm coming to you here just one day before Thanksgiving on Wednesday, so I'll be previewing all three of the Thanksgiving Day games, along with a couple games from the Sunday slate, and as always, some of our moneyline value picks. But before getting to the regularly scheduled program, here are the usual reminders. You can catch me here every Thursday throughout the NFL season, previewing the upcoming weekend's action from a betting preview, as well as every Monday morning where I'm joined by our VP of Data Science, Scott Brown, to recap the weekend's action and decision-making, as well as a betting preview of Monday Night Football. You can catch us on the EdjSports Podcast Network on your podcast platform of choice. Be sure to subscribe and give us a 5-star review. Help us grow our audience. And also subscribe to our EdjSports YouTube channel, where you'll be able to see all of those podcasts as well as our matchup previews for every game of every week. Be sure to check out our new site and experience at edjsports.com. That is edjsports.com. And don't forget to download our new app. It is available for both iOS and Android. On the app, you can get pregame betting insights for every NFL game, including our fair value spreads, our fair value totals. You have the ability to track your bets to see the probability of them hitting. That's for any bets you've placed. You can input those, and throughout the games in real time, you'll be able to see the odds of those bets hitting. So moving on to the preview, we've got our usual Lions and Cowboys each playing on Thanksgiving, as well as the Bills and Saints as our nightcaps. I'll start with the first game, which could be another backup bowl for the Bears like we had against Baltimore last week. Chicago at Detroit. So the tradition since 1934 that Detroit played on Thanksgiving Day, with the exception of the World War II years where they did not play. Now, just because it's a tradition doesn't necessarily mean that it's good football. And we really haven't seen much of that from this game in a while. We already know Andy Dalton is starting for Chicago. We're operating as if Tim Boyle will make his second start for Detroit, his second career start and second start in 2 weeks for the Detroit Lions. Now, both teams are 26th or worse in DVOA. Chicago's 26th in offense and 16th in defense, though they're without Khalil Mack for the rest of the year. They haven't had him for a few weeks, but 16th in defense. Detroit isn't any better. 30th in offense and 28th in defense. So really not much to get excited about in this one, the first game of the week. So just going to kind of move into the market numbers here. The spread is Chicago -3. The edge fair value we've got is Chicago -4. So pretty close. They're only 50.8% chance for Chicago to cover that -3. Do have a 57.9% chance to push or cover. So to win by a field goal or more is about 58%. I would probably go with Chicago in this one. Detroit, they've had some close games, but it seems like in some of those games going into it, it should be close. They just don't really show up the games that it seems like they're going to get blown out. They seem to keep it close. So really kind of a conundrum this year for Detroit, but I would probably lean Chicago in this one. As I mentioned last week, I got burned with that Miami pick a couple weeks ago. I picked Green Bay the past week, who actually performed much better than Minnesota, but ended up losing anyway. So it's been a bad run the last couple of weeks in picking some of these games, but that would be my gut on this one. Just a couple notes on the season. They're both pretty split against the spread. Chicago 2-3 against the spread on the road, which they will be tomorrow, and Detroit 2-2 against the spread at home. So really not much to take from there. Looking at the total, the market sits at 41.5 points, our lowest of the week, which is really no surprise, with a handful of really just kind of bad matchups this week. We've got the Jets and the Texans, as well as the Jaguars and Falcons, which I'll get to a little later on, that second one, but just not much to really get excited about there. Our edge fair value is a little bit higher at 45 points. So we give it about 61.4% chance for this game to exceed 41 points. Some notes there from the season, pretty much the same as the spread. Chicago over is 2-3 on the road. The Detroit over is 2-2 at home. So really no trends on either in this one. 86% of the bets are on Detroit in the public, but 54% on Chicago. So the sharps there put a little bit more money on the Bears. Not a ton of surprise, at least to me. So recapping that one, edge, we do see some value with Chicago, a little bit more on the over. Chicago 58% chance to push or cover -3. And 61.4% chance for this game to exceed 41 points. Moving on to the second game of the Thanksgiving slate, coming around dinner time, or maybe a second dinner, second meal, third meal for some of you, who knows. But Las Vegas at Dallas. Both teams are coming off very disappointing losses in Week 11. Las Vegas got routed by Cincinnati. Las Vegas was actually our favorite last week. One of our moneyline value picks as well did not come through. Dallas was another one we had, but they even failed to score a touchdown versus Kansas City. But the defense was good, only giving up 19 points to the Chiefs, who looked really good against that Las Vegas team the week before. Dallas comes in fourth in overall DVOA. They're still eighth in offense, fourth in defense. Las Vegas is only 23rd in overall DVOA, 20th on offense, 22nd in defense. So really not, doesn't seem like it really should be much of a matchup there. But, and the market pretty much agrees. So we'll get going to that. But the Las Vegas did get Darren Waller going some last week. Dallas only 23rd defending passes to tight ends. That really might not matter because Las Vegas is 23rd against the pass and 15th against the run. So even if Las Vegas can get Darren Waller going again, I'm not sure the Las Vegas defense can keep up with that Dallas offense. They gave up a big day to Joe Mixon last week. Could be a big day for Zeke as there's always the possibility. We know Dak is going to want to bounce back, though he will be without Amari Cooper on the COVID list and perhaps even CeeDee Lamb, who suffered a concussion and was in concussion protocol last week. So it'll be interesting to see. But as I mentioned, the market likes Dallas. They're at -8, which is the largest favorite of the week. No double-digit favorites this week. We like Dallas at a point more at -9. So we have them covering about 4% more often than Las Vegas, but the margins are pretty slim there. Dallas only 50.4% chance to cover -8, 53.1% chance to push or cover -8. So pretty close there, but giving Dallas a slight edge. Now, Las Vegas, 2-2 against the spread on the road. Dallas is 4-1 against the spread at home. So kind of a good omen, if you will, or a good indication there. Like we have, they've been really good at home when it comes to covering the spread, and we do have them as a slight favorite to do so this week. Looking at the total, the market's at 50.5 points. Our total is at 52, so just over 56% chance to exceed 50 points at 56.2%. Dallas, the over for Dallas is 3-2 at home. The Las Vegas over only 2-3 away. So really not much to take from there. Pretty evenly split on the season. Looking at the public betting, 59% of the bets, 51% of the money are on Dallas. So it's close, but more people are on Dallas in this one this week. Recapping there, slight value on Dallas, slightly more on the over, still really not a ton on either. Dallas, 53.1% chance to push or cover -8, and 56.2% chance for this game to exceed 50 points. And then for the nightcap on Thanksgiving night, Buffalo at New Orleans. Very disappointing Week 11 outcome for both teams, but especially for Buffalo. They got embarrassed by Indianapolis at home. As you know, they gave up 5 touchdowns to Jonathan Taylor, who's really been on a tear lately for Indianapolis. New Orleans had a disappointing home loss of their own, down 26 heading into the fourth quarter against Philly, before losing by 11, put up some garbage time points. But, it just was really a bad week for both of these teams. New Orleans is likely still missing Alvin Kamara this week. Did see Mark Ingram did not practice yesterday. So that'll be interesting to keep an eye on whether either of those guys will be able to go. Pretty much, I think Kamara, I don't know if he's been ruled out, but I think it's very unlikely that he will play. But these teams overall are pretty comparable. Buffalo, even with the loss, is still 5th in overall DVOA. Number 1 defense in the league, 18th in offense. New Orleans is still top 10 as well. They're 5th in defense, but only 17th in offense. So both of these teams are not very consistent. Buffalo is the least consistent team in the NFL with a variance of 46.6%. To put that in perspective, the next closest is Carolina at only 28.6%. Note here too, New Orleans comes in at 27th at 18.6. So both these teams have had some really good games. They've had some really bad games. So you kind of never know which team you're going to get. So it'll be interesting to see which team comes out on Thanksgiving night. Buffalo, half game behind New England for first in the AFC. New England playing very well lately, having won 5 in a row. New Orleans, only 2 games behind Tampa Bay, but they do have the head-to-head tiebreaker, at least for now. We'll see. They do play another game later on. But 2 games back, Tampa Bay looking really good. So not really looking like New Orleans is going to catch them, but they're still pretty close. Looking at the spread on this one, the market has Buffalo as 6.5-point favorites. It was 5.5 yesterday. That is Tuesday, up from 4.5 at open. So this one's moved a couple points, almost, nearing a touchdown and extra point. It's gone over a touchdown. Our edge for value, though, has Buffalo only -3. So we give New Orleans 65.5% chance to cover that plus 6.5 number. So we're giving them, almost 2/3 out of simulations. They lose by less than 7 or they win. Now, Buffalo, 3-2 against the spread on the road this season. New Orleans, 2-2 against the spread at home. Again, like some of those other games, really not a lot to take from those trends there. Moving on to the total, the market is sitting at 45.5 points. Our edge fair value is 43. So a little bit below. 2 really good defenses, not too surprising. And those kind of middle of the road offenses, you never know what you're going to get with them. but there's a 58% chance it falls short of 46 points based on our model. And Buffalo is the over is 3-2 on the road. New Orleans, it's over is 3-1 at home. So combined 6-3 in the last 4 or 5 games for them. Buffalo over has hit in 4 of the last 6 games, and the New Orleans over has hit in 6 of the last 7. So the trends are kind of looking at the over on this. We have the under, again, considering those 2 really good defenses, both top 5. We give some slight value to the under. Now, in the public, 88% of the bets are on Buffalo. The money, though, is split 50-50. So people aren't really sure who to take in this one. It's split evenly. Could really go either way. So not a ton to glean from that right now. Maybe as we get into Thursday, we'll see that kind of go one way or the other. But right now, 50-50. So recapping that one, good value on New Orleans, value on the under. New Orleans, 65.5% chance to cover, plus 6.5. 58.8% chance for that game to fall short of 46 points. Now on to one of our Sunday games, Atlanta at Jacksonville. So this is really an ugly game from a casual standpoint. Jacksonville 28th in DVOA, 25th in offense, 29th in defense. Atlanta even worse despite having 2 more wins. They're only 32nd in DVOA, dead last, 31st in offense, second to last, and 30th in defense, third to last. So not really much to like about either team here. Atlanta just got shut out versus New England last week. Jacksonville lost 30-10 against San Francisco. Really, we're never even in that game. Obviously, losing by 20 there. But there is some betting value in the spread, the money line, and the total from our perspective. So Atlanta is -1 or it's a pick 'em depending on where you look. Our edge for value is so far off that. Jacksonville -5. So we have Jacksonville with 67.9% chance to cover +1. 69.9% chance to push or cover +1, so nearly 70%. Now, Atlanta is 3-2 against the spread on the road. Jacksonville 2-4 against the spread at home. So like we see with a lot of these games this week, really nothing as far as the trends go there to kind of make it go any way or the one way or the other that you can really come up with. But we do like Jacksonville to cover at almost a 70% clip here. And then the total, the market is at only 46.5 points. Our edge fair value is 52 points. So again, close to the spread. We have it with 67.5% chance to exceed 46 points. But the Jacksonville under has hit. It's 5-1 at home this year. It's hit in its last 5 games. The Atlanta under has hit in 3 of the last 4, and those were all losses. They did win in the single over in their last 4, but the under has been really hot lately in both Atlanta and Jacksonville games. But we're expecting the over. So again, 2 teams, they're not really good at anything. So it could be a lot of bad, but a lot of scoring in this one. Don't have any public data on this game right now. Not coming in for us. So just to recap that, there's big value on Jacksonville in our eyes, value on the under. 69.9% chance for Jacksonville to push or cover +1. 67.5% chance for this game to exceed the 46 points. And then our last game we're going to preview, the Los Angeles Rams at the Green Bay Packers. It's pretty much the game of the weekend. That Tampa Bay Indy game's a good one, even Tennessee, New England. But this one is one of the most anticipated games of the season ever since that schedule came out, especially with Matt Stafford going out to Los Angeles. His first game against Green Bay this year, first of only one, at least in the regular season. He's typically played them twice a year, obviously being in the same division until this year. A rematch of last year's divisional round, which was a Green Bay victory at Lambeau Field. Now, Green Bay is very banged up. They just lost Elton Jenkins to a torn ACL as they're preparing to get David Bakhtiari back after the bye. Jair Alexander, Zadarius Smith are still out, potentially for the rest of the season. Really kind of an unknown there. Aaron Jones is still out, but A.J. Dillon has been good as backup, showed some promise last year and then has really kind of broken out this year. Big question here is, will Odell Beckham Jr. get more involved this week coming out of their bye? So we know Cooper Kupp's going to get his targets. Odell has had a couple weeks now to get the playbook and kind of learn that and get more involved, or for them, McVay to get him more involved. Green Bay 16th against wide receiver 1. So Cooper Kupp, has a pretty good matchup here. They're 23rd against wide receiver 2s, but they're the top defense versus other wide receivers. So right now, is that Odell Beckham or is that Van Jefferson at that wide receiver 2 spot? One of either whoever it is, however they look at it, however they game plan, could be in for a pretty big game. But Green Bay is 10th against deep passes. So Stafford could maybe not have as much success downfield with guys like Van Jefferson and Odell there, but the same goes for Rodgers. The Rams are 6th against deep passes. They're top 10 against both wide receiver 2s and other wide receivers, and only 16th defending passes to running backs. So could be, a decent matchup for A.J. Dillon. Not a great matchup for anyone outside of Devontae Adams, but we know he's going to get his targets, just like I said with Cooper Kupp. Either way, I would still expect both teams to throw, given who their quarterbacks are. But Green Bay is only 26th against the run, so really run funnel defense there. They've been pretty good overall. Last week, gave up a lot to Justin Jefferson, a ton, 2 touchdowns, over 150 yards, maybe, had a big game. So this could be a big game for Darrell Henderson. As I mentioned, Green Bay is only 26th against the run. But still, we're expecting some points here. Los Angeles, though, top 10 against both the pass and the run. Their offense is top 10 in passing and rushing. Green Bay 8th in passing, 12th in rushing. So near the top 10 there in both. Just an exciting matchup all around. 2 of the best teams in the NFC. The market has it kind of exactly that as a pick 'em, basically 50-50. We've got Green Bay as 3-point favorites at home, so we give them 60% chance to win versus a market implied 50%. Los Angeles is 2-3 against the spread on the road. Green Bay is a perfect 4-0 against the spread at home, and they're undefeated at home, so 4-0 overall as well. So will that streak continue? Will that come to an end? We like them to get to 5-0, both or against the spread and straight up. So really, it'll be interesting to see how the Rams come out of their bye here against Green Bay, a team that's just looking to get to the bye. Looking at the total, the market's at 47.5. We're a little bit higher at 51. So give this a 62.2% chance to exceed 47 points. The Los Angeles over is only 2-2-1 on the road. Green Bay's really gone under a lot at home. 1-3, or really on the season. They're 1-3 at home. The over is. So the under 3-1, the under is 8-3 on the season for Green Bay. So projected a lot of points. They're hanging out under that market total a lot throughout the season. Only 3 times has it gone over. So in the market, though, the public betting 60% of the bets, 91% of the money on Green Bay. So really heavy on Green Bay right now. We'll be interested to see how that shifts as we get into the week. And I would expect it to come down a little bit closer to Los Angeles. Just because in a game like this, 91% of the money on Green Bay just seems like a lot to me. So I'd expect that to come down a little. But still, we've got Green Bay favored. So recapping value on Green Bay and the over. Green Bay 60% chance to win versus a pick 'em in the market at 50-50, basically a coin flip. And then 62.2% chance to exceed 47 points. Now moving on to our moneyline values. It was a rough week last week for our moneyline values. We're 0-3. Dallas, Las Vegas, and Seattle all lost. So this week, obviously, we're hoping to get back on track. 2 of our values are in games that are pick'ems. So they're basically 50-50 in the market. We're just picking, we've got a better chance for the winner, or for our favorite Green Bay, 50% chance to win versus 60% chance to win versus a market implied 50%. So about a 10% edge there, we think, for Green Bay. Jacksonville, I mentioned, 68% chance to win versus a market implied 50%. So we see a lot of value there. I think Jacksonville is really undervalued against a Falcons team that, despite being only a few games out of first in that division, they've got 4 wins, just really has not been good. So bottom 3 in offense, defense, and then worst overall this year. Then our third one is Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. Cincinnati took the first matchup pretty easily, 24-10 in Pittsburgh. Now the Steelers have been playing much better lately. Cincinnati really hasn't been good as their record indicates. They've looked good kind of watching them, but as far as the underlying metrics, they're only 23rd overall. So our model has Pittsburgh as 1-point underdogs versus 4.5-point underdogs in the market. So we still don't think they're going to win. It is really close, but we think there's more value on them than what the market is giving. These teams are pretty even in terms of DVOA. Pittsburgh 21st overall, 21st in offense, 26th in defense. I mentioned Cincinnati 23rd overall, 24th in offense, 22nd in defense. So in the low 20s, both offensively, defensively overall. Really nothing great about either team, so pretty evenly matched. We've got Pittsburgh at 48% chance to win versus a market implied 37%. So about an 11% edge we think there. You're only paying about a 37%. We're up close to a 50-50 here. So I think there's some good value there on Pittsburgh. Really seems like anything can happen in these rivalry games, and we like Pitt a little bit more than the market based on how they've played, and just like Pittsburgh there. So we'll see how we do this week. Again, 0-3 last week, hoping to get better. Let's hope we get 3-0. Would be fine by me, especially with that Green Bay game. Would like to see them get back on track. So that will wrap up our Week 12 preview. Here's a quick recap for those of you keeping track at home. If you missed any, if you just want to hear those again. Chicago at Detroit. We've got Chicago with 57.9% chance to push or cover -3. And this game has 61.4% chance to exceed 41 points. That was the lowest total of the week. Las Vegas at Dallas. Dallas 53.1% chance to push or cover -8. Our fair value at -9. In this game, covering or exceeding 50 points in 56.2% of our simulations. The nightcap on Thanksgiving Day, Buffalo at New Orleans. New Orleans 65.5% chance to cover +6.5. And 58.8% chance for that game to fall short of 46 points. Atlanta at Jacksonville. Jacksonville 69.9%, so basically 70% chance to push or cover +1. 67.5% chance to exceed 46 points. And then Los Angeles Rams at Green Bay. Green Bay 60% chance to win versus it being a pick'em in the market at basically 50-50. 62.2% chance for that game to exceed 47 points. Two top 10 offenses there, so expecting some points there. Then for our money line values, Jacksonville 68% chance to win versus a market implied 50%. Green Bay 60% chance to win. Man, I keep messing that up. Green Bay 60% chance to win versus a market implied 50%. And then Pittsburgh 48% chance to win versus a market implied 37%. So that will do it for this week's betting preview. Be sure to check out all of our pregame betting insights for week 12 and beyond on EdjSports.com and our EdjSports app. We've got all of our pregame betting videos in the app, online, on our YouTube channel as well. Come back on Monday to hear our weekend recap and then our Monday night football betting preview. That'll be Seattle against Washington to cap the Thanksgiving weekend action. Please subscribe to our EdjSports Podcast Network. Again, on any podcast platform that you prefer. Give us a 5-star review. Help us grow our audience. And again, don't forget to subscribe to our EdjSports YouTube channel. You can hear this podcast every week. You can hear our Monday weekend recap, get our matchup previews for every game of every week. And then don't forget to check back on Wednesdays for our next head coach rankings. We will have a head coach rankings video coming out next week. Just had the rankings released today. We had to pass on the video this week with all the holiday festivities coming up. But that we will have a video updating our coach rankings next Wednesday. Thank you for listening. As always, enjoy the Week 12 action. Safe travels to all of you out there who will be traveling for the holiday. And have a happy Thanksgiving.